This week you can see us making the Horatio's garden stand for Chelsea, which we designed. Lots of people were involved in the making of it. See how it was done. Jamie and Tim, a big thank you for all your amazing work here. We've been working on these steel arches. When did I phone you? Was it before Christmas?
No, it was, I think, the start of February.
Was it February?
Yeah.
I thought it was pre-Christmas,
No.
but my memory's gone completely.
Yeah.
And I phoned you and I said, would you be willing to help for a wonderful charity? And you really took it on board, and you found this steel, this wire, and you made the columns from the wire, and I think this works really well, doesn't it? It's rigid enough. It was a bit of a nightmare when we arrived, because although we set it all out on the plan, I was speaking to the people who made the wooden stand, and they said, although Chelsea tell you it's 6x4, he said, what they don't tell you is that's not including the inside measurements. So it's not 6x4. And we had a bit of a, oh my God moment when we weren't sure, because it's worked out very precisely to get everything to spring from the columns and be the right dimension. Yeah. So that was a headache, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, day one essentially was get the computer back out and redraw it up on CAD.
Yeah.
But luckily we had a way to be able to adjust it.
Yes.
And I still think you get that effect, and it looks exactly as our original plan.
Yeah, no, it's really good. And it is based on the stone version in my house. And yours is much more exact than my stone one, which is different arches and everything. I think it's just the way the stonemasons built it. And I imagine they, in the 13th century, had a few headaches.
Yeah.
And that's why their arches are very asymmetrical. You've got yours much better than them, but they didn't have CAD in the 13th century.
Or a laser cutter.
Or a laser cutter,
So these sort of tools do definitely come in handy. But no,
Yeah.
I think especially when you're working with angles that transition across such a span, you need to be precise. And especially with thin wire, you can't hide a lot. So, no, but I think it looks really nice.
Yeah. So you guys, Tim, you've started working together. You normally do gardens more, and Jamie's always done the metalwork. So you've done loads of stuff, haven't you? You've done containers for us, archways, all sorts of things, gates, fencing. So you're a metal worker, and now you've combined to do metalwork in the garden.
I used to be a metal worker myself.
I didn't realise that.
I'm a fully qualified fabricator.
But,
right.
Right.
30 odd years of experience now, so quite some time.
Gosh, you don't look that old.
I stopped doing that and then went into gardening instead. So I'm the gardener part of the Gardener's Forge.
I see it all right. And have you been inspired by looking around what you've seen here?
There's loads of inspiration. I mean, you've only got to look at the garden just over the way. All sorts of magnificent shapes in there, isn't there? Those seats are... Yeah.
It is a very good space, a place for inspiration, isn't it? And I think the thing I love about metal is that it will do any shape. It lasts forever, generally, if it's galved or whatever. And then the finishes you can do now are sort of infinite, aren't you? Verdigris, black and copper, black and bronze, whatever you want. So it's fabulous. So I think you're in a business that's got huge potential. Yeah,
very much so.
And this has been a bit of a challenge, and I think everything from now on will be easier.
Exactly.
We are hoping.
Exactly. No, if this is the start, we'll just carry on and see where it takes us.
So we've done vaults like this in permanent gardens. So we've done ones in schools that you can swing on, and had engineers to help us to make sure they don't kill themselves, the children, from it. But now we're thinking, what's going to happen with this after Chelsea? And if anyone wants to buy it, they could buy it complete with the climbers at the end of Chelsea.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you'd go and erect it for them.
Yeah, we can always give it a hand putting it back together and setting it all up.
Yeah, that would be, because I think this would be perfect. If you had a summer wedding and you had pictures of the bride under here and the bridesmaids and things, I think it would work really well. And would it, because you've done it for a show, it's obviously not as solid as it would be for real life, but you'd get 10 years out of it, wouldn't you, or more?
I'd say so, and I think it will just age nicely. So you get that old galv look and a little bit of rust coming through as well. It would just sort of increase the look to it.
Yeah. So do you feel 10 years old after last week? Or do you feel so relieved and it's nice to see it all together?
I think it's that relief.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got the pressure. You can't move the deadline.
No.
and there was a couple of long days and some long evenings, but no, coming back after a good night at home, and it just looks amazing. So yeah, no, really happy.
Well, thank you very, very much indeed. We're really grateful, and you've done something I think looks really lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alex, a big thank you for the
Pleasure.
wonderful edging that you've done for our Horatio's garden.
It looks good.
It looks fabulous. I really,
Very
really
natural.
love it. Yes. So you did us a lovely 200 deep, and you galvanised the edge.
Yeah.
And then you painted it with a mordant.
That's right.
And you
So
made that
etch it.
lovely acid etched lead effect.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think it looks stunning.
You know, I'm very chuffed with it.
So this, you started Everedge.
My father invented the original 1 metre edgings.
This is the brown that you've got on the black wall, which you just push into the garden.
Yeah, and it all links together. That was 30 years ago. I can't believe it's 30 years, but it is.
And how old were you then?
I was 20 something, yeah. So
and were you involved in it?
I was working for another company, and then I came in and my dad said, look, I'm getting too old, you start doing it. And then
were you thrilled? Or
oh no, I loved it. I saw the product and I went, he was quite an entrepreneur and messing around with new products, but I said, that product is great.
Yes.
And so I took on the reins and built it up.
Oh, right. And so this, you don't just do edging, so this is like a planter.
This is sort of a herb planter, or whatever you like. It's corten steel, and this has been, again, it's been accelerated through rusting, so it's sort of oven ready in the garden.
And it's stable. Corten steel has a stable rust effect.
Exactly.
As opposed to ordinary non-galvanised.
So corten's an alloy, and it's got copper in it, and the copper becomes the sort of it stops rusting basically.
Yeah.
And then that becomes your protective layer.
Whereas if you did that in ordinary rusted metal, it would rust off on your jeans and mark them,
and it would
your hands,
in bad condition it will flake.
change,
Exactly.
And it would flake and
exactly.
rot.
Exactly.
But it is a lot more expensive, but it's a far superior product
it
to
is.
rusty steel. And what else do you do then with your
So
edging?
this is it's something called Easy Bed, which is there was a sort of grow your own boom in the late noughties where everyone was growing stuff.
Yes.
So we came up with this system, which is a sort of modular raised bed system called Easy Bed.
Yes.
And that's just under 1 metre long on a sort of door hinge system, and you can have 1 metre square or as many pieces as you like, but they all sort of lock together.
Right.
What else we do? Planters behind you. We've done planters for about 15 years.
Oh, these big ones?
Yeah.
Yes.
This one's a powder coated one.
Right.
We do again.
Any colour.
Exactly.
Any shape.
Any shape. We do. Those are above in the poster there. Those are corten planters in the middle, and more above. And corten, as you know, is the rage.
Yes.
But we do other finishes, mainly powder coated.
Right. So any colour. So you could do verdigris. You could do black and bronze.
Black and bronze, exactly. And our bench, which is hidden away. This is our new. It's a bench we just played around with, and it's a simple design, but it's strong. It's made out of 6mm steel. It weighs a ton, but it's definitely the sort of high end of the market. It's not tinny.
I see. So you could do again the yellow. The steel could be in any colour.
Exactly.
And the wood. Can you do the wood in any finish?
Yes.
So you varnish
Iroko.
that.
This is
Iroko.
but
so
we've
it's
done.
expensive.
Yeah, exactly. It's not cheap, but we are looking at Western red cedar, which is a slightly cheaper timber.
Yeah, and it's pretty durable.
Yeah, no, it is. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, it does depend where it's grown. I think UK Western red cedar is not good.
Yeah.
But foreign is apparently. I was talking to Trada about it.
You know more than I do. I need to do some more homework.
Yeah.
But Iroko is where we all started because somebody said, I want Iroko, so that's how we did it.
Yeah.
Iroko, sorry.
I'm just thinking if you did that in the acid etched metal, and then the cedar would look quite soft, wouldn't it?
Because that would be quite punchy.
That would be nice, yes. And I love the colour that you've chosen for the background, and then you've got the relief.
Yes,
that's very clever.
It's sort of pelmet thing, which is a 3D.
A pelmet thing.
Yeah,
come on.
It's sort of boys' language here.
Yes.
We just came up with it. We sort of make it more interesting on the stand, and we might do something later on in an edging, but it was really for Chelsea, just to sort of sharpen it up and make it a bit more fun.
So how did you make it though? You cut it out
so we designed, my wife is very creative, and between us came up with it's an oak and an ivy design.
Yes.
And after quite a few hours of deciding what was best and what wasn't, came up with this, and then we put it through our laser, and Bob's your uncle. And that's powder coated as well, but again, it could be Corten like everything else, whatever.
I always remember you had the sort of Victorian edging tiles, didn't you, with funny shapes and
yes,
reliefs
that's
and
really
openings.
going back a long time.
Yeah, but could you not do a version of that, a modern version of that in an edging
Why
bed?
not? Yeah,
because I edged beds, slightly raised.
Yeah.
So good in many ways, design-wise.
No, yeah, something a bit out of the ordinary.
Yeah,
and more ornate.
Yes, yeah.
We have come up. There's a roll top edge over there, which is a slight. If you do have a raised bed or border,
which is the roll top? I can't see it.
So over here. So the other edges, we fold the top over.
Oh,
so
right.
it's a slightly sort of. It makes it much stronger.
Yeah.
But also, I'm always a bit nervous of straight edges on top, so it's a safety factor as well.
If you fall on
mainly to do with pets, dogs in particular.
Children.
So we've come up with that in children, obviously. So that's our new kid on the block.
So when I'm doing a driveway with Arctics coming up, what would you do? A 6mm thick edge? Do you do that?
Yeah, we do 6. And then
actually, that was what you'd use for Arctics and stuff.
Yeah, we definitely. But we've got a new called Hydra. And Hydra is this guy here.
Oh,
so
here all your this is
different
good.
thicknesses.
All different thicknesses. So this is like very light domestic.
That's all this stuff here.
Yeah.
And then you come through our Titan range, and this is Hydra, which is 4mm. But it's got this whacking great fold on the top, and it is really strong.
So that would be okay for my Arctics.
Yeah, definitely okay.
Yeah.
It's very it's incredibly strong.
Yeah.
So funky curves, you might have to go down a thickness because this is really strong. But your 6mm here, that's just regular 6 there.
Oh wow, yes.
So you see the difference in the top.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But you'll get a dead straight line, and a lot of designers like that. You know, in time things sometimes wave a bit, traffic or what have you.
But with that it won't.
It just will not
Mine
budge.
down the drive is a bit like that now, I have to say.
Time always does it, and the Arctics.
But I can see with the rise of the robotic mower, to have a fixed edge, whether it's stone or metal, is really important, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Otherwise all the low maintenance robotic is taken away
Going
and
out
you're
the
having
window.
to edge the whole time. Exactly. So I can see you're going to be doing a lot of trade.
I hope so.
From now on. Anyway, just thank you very
Bonnie,
much.
thank
We're
you.
so grateful.
No, pleasure.
For your lovely edging for us. It really has made the garden.
Well,
I'm
it's
being
very
really
kind.
serious.
Yeah.
It really sets
It's
it off.
nice to hear that.
Yeah.
All
lovely.
right,
And
Bunny,
it was a
thank
dream
you.
to put in.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
Thanks.
Tick the boxes. All right, Bunny, thank you.
Thank you very much. Jade, it's so nice to meet you. We've had endless conversations on the phone about Trachyospermens. I've been dreaming about Trachyospermens. But a big thank you. You supplied 50-something plants for the Horatio's garden
have
stand.
they done the job?
And they've done the job. I was so worried about you.
Never worry.
Because I could never get you and you could never get me, and I thought, but you were the easiest bit of the whole put together. Your beautiful plants arrived on time, looking beautiful. They threaded through the mesh columns, and the whole site smells of Trachyospermens.
Not to worry. Never worry. You panic too much.
No, you cannot panic enough at Chelsea. From my experience, always something goes
you want
wrong.
to come into my world.
But so this is your stand, which you haven't quite finished yet.
No.
Because I've held you up, no doubt. But you've got the national collect. Well, you're climbers. Tinings Nursery do climbers big
all
time.
climbers, yeah.
You've just done the champagne stand for the OHS, and you sell all climbers. And you've got the national collection of bougainvillea.
No, mandevillas.
Oh, mandevillas. Jasmine. Thunbergia.
And passion flowers.
You have a lot of work.
Yeah, we do.
Massive amount of work. And of all those climbers, which one is reaching the zenith? Which one is becoming so popular? Jasmine, I would think.
Trachyospermum.
Oh, Trachyospermum.
Still
Do you call that a jasmine?
Well, no, it's people confuse it with the jasmine.
They do,
but
because
it's
of the
not.
jasminoides.
But it's the jasminoides, which means it's like a jasmine in white and scented.
Yeah.
But there's many other Trachyospermums.
Yes. But what was interesting was when you see them in London, they're perfectly hardy and they're wonderful. I grow them, I'm East Midlands, I get down to -14, I'm cold, and so occasionally I lose them.
Yes,
so they're
you
not
will.
100% hardy,
No,
are
the
they?
white one's hardy to about -12. The hardiest one is the yellow one, Asiaticum, which is the one in the middle of the stand, and that's hardy to -20.
Oh,
and that
really?
really does grow more of a pillar. We've only trained it like that.
Oh.
But it needs very little pruning, and it's much sweeter scented.
Oh, it's quite pretty. It's not a coarse yellow. It's a nice. No, it's a very pale yellow.
With a very pleasant scent.
Oh, right. And the other thing, where was I? In Italy recently, they had tracheospermums covering huge restaurant terraces. So there'd be 3 meters high, complete solid roofs of them.
Oh, yeah.
And that was in January.
Yeah, well, they like a free draining soil. Yeah. So they don't mind a bit of drought once their roots are down.
Very tolerant.
Drought.
Yeah. So they are a good one for global warming.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
I don't know much about Thunbergias. Tell me about Thunbergias.
Well, all the ones in the display are the perennial Thunbergias.
And this...
Very sheltered in London, they will survive outside, but we always advise people to take them under cover to a cold or greenhouse with a bit of heat or a conservatory. Then they come back beautifully the following year.
Right, so in my East Midland gardens,
You'd have to bring it under cover.
Have to bring it, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And the blue, what is the blue?
That's plumbago, that's a very popular
my favourite,
plant.
yeah. Now, I put a YouTube thing up about this because I have mine outside in the East Midlands in the winter, and I always thought they were tender. And then when I did the YouTube, I had people from really cold countries, -20, saying they got them through the winter.
Well, the secret with plumbago is to have a very free draining soil to overwinter them. It's a winter wet a lot of these plants don't like.
Yeah, but I hadn't realised it went down to those temperatures.
I haven't heard it going that low.
Well, that's what these people, that's why I love YouTube. They send you about, oh my God, I've grown that outside for X years in the minus whatevers.
And it confusing it with Ceres.
I don't think so. You could tell from their comment that they were a gardener.
Right, yeah.
Well, let's see, it certainly is with me. So the secret you were saying about plumbagos is
don't be afraid to prune them.
Prune them.
So they'll flower now. Yeah. They'll struggle for being under the marquee for a week. So when I get back, I'll chop them back. They'll reshoot and reflower 4 or 5 weeks later.
And how far do you chop them back when you say that?
Oh, I could take that back by half. It depends how low you want them to go.
Okay. And bougainvilleas, lovely.
Really easy plant to grow.
As long as you've got heat.
They don't actually need that much heat even in the winter. The mistake people make is putting them in large pots, giving them lots of feed and lots of water.
Grow them hard.
With any plant, it's the root you're looking after, not the top. So if the root's happy, the rest of your plant's happy.
Right.
Everybody worries about the top and not the root.
Right. But you couldn't leave it outside. You would have to bring it under cover.
Have.
In London, but where I am, you couldn't leave it outside.
Yeah, and if it's in a cold greenhouse, what you tend to find is they lose all their foliage and start to reshoot now as the light levels get better and it warms up in the spring.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
If you don't, but I could do that and let it die down. Yes. I'd still have to bring it in,
You'd still have to, but you could use a cold greenhouse. But really, if you can give it some heat, it's better.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm waiting to see what it looks like. I'm amazed you've managed to bring them all there, get everything on time, do the champagne by, produce ours. You did more than last week.
Champagne yet. It's a disaster.
I'd have thought they'd have given you a case at least.
Well, I'm waiting for it.
You'll be lucky with the RHS. So, Olivia, we're finished. We're finished.
Hurrah! Doesn't it look amazing?
Yeah,
it really.
Oh, that's all that matters.
Absolutely over the moon. Thanks to you. You had such a great vision and just brought this three-dimensional space to life.
Well, it was all of us working on it really. But no, it's been fun to do. It really has, and I think all your merch, as they call it, looks really good, doesn't it? It fits in with the tones and the colours. Whose idea was it to do it in conjunction with Country Living? And so anyone can go and sit on the bench, have their photo taken, then what happens?
And then it's mocked up, so it looks like the front cover of Country Living. And so they'll be emailed a picture they can frame and put in the loo of when they were on the front page of Country Living. So it's a fun thing that will give a lovely experience for people coming along.
And was that your idea? Whose
that
idea
was from Country Living.
It's their
so
idea.
This year, Horatius Garden is the charity partner for Country Living magazine. So we're doing all sorts of different events with them. We've got a fantastic talk at the RGS in July, and different, all sorts of different things
Events.
going on. Yeah.
And I see you on the front page of the Telegraph this morning. That's
well,
so
our
good.
patron, Princess Eugenie,
Yes.
so thrilled. She came to visit Horatius Garden in Salisbury last week as an informal visit to see patients, meet the staff and have a chat. And there's a write-up about her and her work with us as our patron, and her personal connection, because she had scoliosis surgery. So, you know, as a young girl, had experienced what it's like to be really unwell and be removed from nature and gardens. So it's a very lovely article and really exciting at this time, just before Chelsea starts.
Yes. And I was interested when we were working on the garden. So the Katie, who painted the backdrop.
Yes.
So she works for you too, doesn't she?
Yeah, so she's one of our artists in residence. So she comes into the garden and she paints with patients. So if people want to get involved, they can, or if they want to chat, or if they want to work collaboratively with her, she can do that. And she's been doing that for a while. She's an artist, but she's also an art therapist. Really skilled, amazing person.
Oh, I didn't know there was such a thing as an art therapist.
And the incredible thing that we find is that the impact on patients is extraordinary. Sitting in the garden, doing some art with somebody like Katie or one of our other artists, 94% of people say that they feel distracted from their pain, and this is really chronic, difficult pain to treat. People feel that their well-being improves and they just feel their mood lifts because sort of immersing yourself in art, you know, even if you haven't been an artist at school or think, you know, someone like me hasn't done art since school, but somehow when you're in a beautiful garden and you've got somebody encouraging you, it can be something really lovely and positive and hopeful.
She was lovely to work with. You know, she was so particular about details. How do you want it? What colours? What height? What's the height of the wall? You could tell she was really doing it in a very thorough way.
Yes.
And the other two people, well, three people we worked with you were Sarah and Pip.
Oh.
Now their company is Wild Artichoke.
That's right. Yeah.
And they, explain to me how they were.
Yeah, so Sarah and Pip were both volunteers in Horatius Garden in Salisbury. And then they started to set up a flower growing enterprise, really, from the point of view of just they loved growing flowers and cutting flowers, and they wanted to learn about it.
So they were doing cut flowers,
which they're growing in their own gardens. So it's all English grown, homegrown flowers. And then they set it up as a not-for-profit business, and all of the profits from it they give to Horatius Garden. So it's a totally circular thing. So they're now doing things like weddings for people, taking commissions for different things, and they do run workshops. And the wonderful thing about them is, A, they are brilliant at what they're doing. They're brilliant growers, they're amazing florists, but they also come with this absolutely joyous attitude. And you cannot not spend, you know, if you spend a few minutes in their time, let alone doing a whole day workshop, just your mood is so lifted. They're great news, and it's such a connected thing with Horatius Garden. It's just been a huge pleasure to work with them, and they've donated and raised thousands of pounds for the charity.
Well, I thought it was interesting. Their attitude again was so full on and positive and meticulous detail, and they got the moss. They had a name. They have a name for that, don't they? We put the jasmine into the moss balls, and they did it so perfectly, and I would have made a right mess of that. And they were fun.
Don't believe that. They're fun, that's the thing.
And they've got a very good eye, haven't they? A very good eye. So
Yeah.
it was lovely when we did all these bottom bits together just to get their opinion on it. And I just thought, what a great way. If someone wanted to set up a business, they didn't actually need to make an income, but they wanted something to do that was a passion.
Exactly.
I'd never heard of someone doing that, setting up a business purely to support a charity. But if you're lucky enough to be in that position, that's a great thing to do with your time, because it gives you a real purpose. And for you, it must be lovely to have that link.
It's absolutely wonderful on lots of levels, because not only from the income that they're generating, but the ethos behind it and spreading that message. And you know, it's so sustainable as well, and it connects with our vision and values too, which is about local. It's about locally grown. It's about what you can do and what you can see within your garden and how that can be beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I hope you have a fabulous week, Olivia. It's been really fun to do it. Really
Well, I can't thank you enough. I mean, it's just
pleasure.
so exciting, and to see the wildflowers, most of which have been grown in Horatia's garden in London, was incredibly exciting. Donated by Pictorial Meadows.
Yeah, Pictorial Meadows. They were amazing. I tried to do this garden for free.
Yes.
But I just the transport of the Pictorial Meadows and bring it in. It's very difficult, isn't it? Because London is not a cheap place to build something. But they donated it free, and then they looked after it very kindly at Stanmore.
Yes.
And no, they've worked really well, haven't they? I love those wildflowers, and I hope in 7 days' time they look as good.
I think they're coming out already. I think they're just changing. That's what wildflowers do, isn't it? So,
yes, and your son picked up the moss for
He
us.
did, yes. So it's been a real
9
family effort.
Did you find it a great experience?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Because it's a big wholesale market.
No, he loved it.
At 9 Elms, and you drive it. And did Brian bring them out for him?
Yes, he did. Yes.
Oh, that's good. So you don't have to pay parking.
No,
Makes all the
exactly. It was
difference.
all a win-win situation.
So those boxes of moss, amazing. I don't know where they grow them from.
I don't know. But and do you think after we just give it the Chelsea chop and then it will come back again later in the summer, do you think?
The meadow?
Yeah.
The meadow should just go on.
Yeah.
It is designed to go on and on. I think if something like the Hesperus or the Moon Days might benefit from a chop, I think I'd do it individually.
Yeah.
Whether it will survive the move.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see. Won't it?
A lot of water, soil, chop it a bit. It might well do.
Yeah. Well, we should see.
It's designed. Mine at home goes right on till the frost.
Yes. Well, we've identified an area outside one of the gardens that we could use it on if it does survive. So we shall let you know and follow up on that one. But thank you, Bunny, for doing this, and to Unity as well. What a fantastic
Unity behind
team.
the camera.
But thank you,
who's
Unity.
Done the sketch on, sketch up, and who's done lots of work and the filming. Thank you very much, Unity.
Thank you.